I have enough knowledge to get me from point A to B. Your team's able to take me from B straight to Z. I feel like it's a lot more of a custom experience. Thank you to all your team. You guys have really changed my life, truly.
Tell me recently, like, what did you just book? How'd you book it? What's the win? Let's jump right into that.
Yeah, I mean, jumping right in, I had a whole bunch of Chase points. I've been hoarding them. I'm a big Hyatt guy, so I always transfer over to Hyatt. But I'm also planning on going to one of my best friend's weddings in Italy. So I was like, oh, let me check out, British Airways. I know that they're the only ones that fly direct to Heathrow from San Diego. I had like 160, 170,000 Chase points. I also coincidentally saw that Chase had a transfer bonus to British Airways through Avios. So I was like, all right, doing all the math, I was like, I can book a one-way business class flight for 150,000 Chase points converted to British Avios, which is 200,000 British Avios. That's the 30%. And that can get us, me and my wife, one-way business class from Heathrow to San Diego, which retailed for $26,000, which was absolutely insane. You think like, all right, no person that's making the amount of money that I'm making, which is not millions, can fly business class for that cost. I talked to some people recently that they're like, oh yeah, I flew business class. It was $10,000 per flight. It was such a good deal. I was like, wow, okay, you're in a different you're in a different bracket than I am.
Sure.
But no, it was
Totally.
just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to. I've seen, going from economy to the Comfort Plus. We flew premium economy for the honeymoon earlier this year. And then next year, we're finally going to be able to hit that business class, the lie flat seats.
Like, why is that important to you just in your life? Like, what is it about the idea of elevating your travel standards, getting into business class, and doing it strategically? What's so exciting and compelling to you about that?
Yeah, I mean, it all started back in like 2011 when I first started baking with Chase, and then and then I started racking up some points early on. I opened up the Chase Sapphire Reserve in 2015, 2016 when it first came out, and I'd gone and flown home from. I went to Arizona State, and I was originally from Seattle, so I was like, I don't want to spend money every time I fly home. I'd much rather spend the money on fun things that I want to do, and the points will just get me home. And then that just kept on leveling up one after the next. And then once I met my wife, we're doing a lot more traveling together, and I'm like, all right, she needs to level up her game. I need to level up my game because I know I don't want to spend $3,000 out of my pocket every single trip we go on. So that's how this all has evolved into my desire and my passion for travel, but I'm not a multimillionaire.
A lot of people think that I have to be spending a crazy amount of money to do this, or these people traveling like this must make a ton of money. Tell me a little more about like whatever you're comfortable sharing. Just roughly, how much are you spending each month?
Yeah.
Because yeah, a lot of people will be pretty surprised by how you're able to do this.
Yeah. So average, I would say probably like 8,000 bucks a month. I mean, sure,
Cool.
there's some times where we're dipping into like 12,000, maybe on the higher end, 15,000, but we're not spending, $25,000 a month. I don't spend money on advertising. I don't spend money on extraneous business expenses. I'm my own solo business entrepreneur, and that's it. So a lot
Cool.
of the
Yeah.
spend is just personal spend, and we love to travel, we love to go to bars and restaurants, and that's where it's all organically coming from, and using the
Cool.
right cards, obviously.
Nice. Nice. So just even off of like roughly around 8, maybe 10K a month,
Yeah.
you were able to get the right card, earn enough points, and then book a $26,000 trip.
Yes, exactly.
Sick. Sick. Cool. Talk to me a little bit about old Nick before working with us, how he thought about what was possible for him,
Mhm.
and then some of the things that now maybe not even like super tactical, just more like how did it change from like, oh, I used to think like this and now I think like this.
I bought flights out of the portal, which is, super old school, super like elementary level thinking. And then I started learning about how airlines were in different alliances and whatnot. And then really, I started getting a lot more points after opening up all these bigger credit cards and opening up business credit cards, which that elevated my game prior to FTS. But then when I joined FTS, the world got open when I saw that you can do this whole booking flights that are operated by other airlines in these alliances and knowing where all the deals are at, which typical airlines partner with other airlines where you can find those sweet spots. Oh, you can book, British Airways or Virgin from the West Coast to Europe for cheap, or you can use, Singapore or all these different other European airlines that, don't typically operate out of the United States, but they're operated by partner U.S. airlines that fly to Europe and whatnot.
Hmm.
So that's what
Totally.
really elevated the game for me.
Gotcha.
Just being constantly updated with all the different transfer bonuses,
Right.
different mergers. I mean, you see the Alaska Hawaiian merger just happened.
Yeah.
Um, all of the just being your team, just being in the know of everything and everywhere always is like the North Star for me, because I used to have to do all that myself. I
Mm.
would be like constantly scouring the internet trying to find all this information. But what I've noticed is since I joined with FTS is they take it like 10 levels deeper than what I was ever able to accomplish. Your team is going to all these conferences. You guys are getting information from people before like the mass media is hearing about it even. So it's that next level, that early entry. Because I mean, as you know, and probably a lot of people don't know, award flights. It's not like there's 65 business class seats available for award purchase. You click on British Airways. When I saw it, it said 4 available. And
Hmm.
I guarantee that other people, when they see that crazy redemption or they see your post or my post, that they're going to be like, oh shit, I need to go and hop on that flight.
That's part of the game here because as someone who like you're someone who values your time, right? Your time is an asset for you because you are an investor, you're doing real estate, you're building your career. So, in terms of getting leverage on your time so you can focus on more of what you want to do, there's a huge advantage there. So, I'm curious, how has that felt for you to kind of just know, hey, I don't have to do all this research all on my own. I have a team that I can rely on. Tell me a little bit about like what that's done for you mentally, any things that's changed for you in terms of how you
Yeah.
feel when it comes to the confidence you have.
It honestly, it feels like you have just like a roll cage. Like you can just do whatever you want. You've got your team to support you. They know exactly where the great redemptions are. And I have enough knowledge as I've been doing this for, 10 years at this point. I have enough knowledge to get me from point A to B, but your team's able to take me from B straight to Z. Like I can
Mm,
just almost kind of like ride the coattails in a sense of the
sure.
information that they have, and also just be able to validate my information. Like I may find a really good redemption and I may post something in the group and say, hey, I think this looks like a kick-ass redemption, but does anyone know of something that's maybe even better? Is there a better award redemption where I can even maximize my points further? And
Hmm.
that's where I've seen the huge value, and just the community support. It's not just like I'm communicating with one person. There are multiple moderators and admin in the group that are all supporting. So it's
Mm,
not like I have to ask a question and wait, you know, 3 days or a week to hear a response. There's other
right.
people in the community, the admins, the moderators that also can answer my questions much quicker, which I've
Totally.
found in
Yeah.
other mentorships that I've been in. It's like, oh, email support, and then you get a response back a week later, and oh, that opportunity is gone. So I
Totally.
get very very quick response time on any questions I have, and it's just fun to just hear people's travel stories. I mean, like if I want to know about, oh, I'm flying to London, should I book this Hyatt hotel or this Hyatt hotel? Because this one looks way more attractive. And then someone's like, you shouldn't do that. It's not in a very convenient area. It's not close to public transportation. This one has a much better lounge. This one has a much better customer service experience, feels more 5 star versus the other one is shown to be 5 star, but it feels more like a 4 star. So having that
Totally.
insider info of actually
Yeah.
being there and experiencing it amongst a
Right.
group of travelers is incredible, because there's a lot of people that they might be keyboard warriors and they know all the information on the internet, but then they've never done the thing. They've never done the traveling. And a lot of people in FTS are doing the thing. They're getting out there and
Yeah.
they're flying business class.
Sure, getting a decent point deal is good, but if you are staying in the wrong part of the city, that actually throws the trip off a lot. Or it's like it's a good deal, but actually that property hasn't been renovated in 20 years, and that's why it's a good deal. It's like you kind of
Mm-hmm.
want to know that stuff. So those are things that a lot of people miss. And you mentioned something that's worth hitting on. There's and I feel this. There's a lot of skepticism online right now with like online courses or coaching or communities. It's like everyone's seen a gazillion offers. Everyone's probably been burned by things in the past. I have, other people have. So it's just true that there's a higher level of skepticism. So I'm curious, you mentioned like us versus some of the other mentorships. Share a little more about like the difference you've experienced in terms of level of service when you've worked with us versus maybe some things that you've experienced in the past for someone who's listening and is like, yeah, I don't know. I've felt a little skeptical before. I've been burned before. Like, just share a little bit about your experience with that.
I'd say from day one when I jumped in on one of your guys' webinars, it was you and Eli that did a webinar, and I just felt a really positive energy from you guys. I didn't feel like you were out here trying to build up on this entire conversation and then wait for the sales pitch at the end. It just felt very authentic and organic, and I'd seen that you guys had been traveling and you guys are utilizing these points in an effective way. And also at the same time, this isn't a 10,000 or 20,000 person community. This is a much more like tailor-made, bespoke service that you're getting with a close-knit group of people. It's very selective. I've been in mentorships where there's like thousands of people and you're just like another number, and you try and get some information and then everyone thinks that they're an expert on it, and then there's 45 different opinions that you get, where what I've experienced so far is pretty much like 99% everyone gets dialed in on the same opinion and the same level of expertise. So I just feel like it's a lot more of a custom experience. I feel like it's very organic and authentic and not salesy. It's not like, oh, you joined level 1 of the mentorship. Well, if you want to join level 2, congrats, you just spent this amount of money. You got to spend $10,000 to join level 2. It's not like this. You got to make your way up to the top and spend, 6 figures to be at the top.
Last question for you. If you could say something to Nick maybe 4 or 5 years ago that was trying to do this on his own and was maybe spending a lot of time online researching things, and now knowing what you now know about points and getting help, what would you say to past Nick if you knew that there was a better option in terms of getting help?
I would say do your research, look into different mentorships, weigh them out, go to some conferences, go to some meetups, go to some travel conferences and whatnot, and talk to other people and see what they're doing, see what mentorships they're in, see what they have to say about it. Because hopping online and going on Reddit and saying, what is XYZ mentor, what's your experience with XYZ mentorship? And then you get everyone that's just like, oh, this is a scam. Like that's not real. There's so many more fruitful conversations you can be having and getting a legitimate review of your mentorship. But I totally believe in mentorship. I do believe in doing your due diligence and just being a person, connecting with people. And if you're potentially going to jump on with a new mentorship, get to know those people, see if they're legitimately just trying to get your money, I guess, or if they're trying to bring on someone that's going to be an active member of their community, bolster up the community, improve the community, and become an integral part, and then be able to bring others into that community as well. I think that's something that I would tell my 5 years ago self.
Beautiful. I love, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have one last question for you,
Sure.
which is knowing that you have more freedom and more opportunities at your fingertips because of the points. How has that changed your relationship, how your wife sees you, how you feel like you can provide for her? Just as a man who's like wants to create experiences for his wife, like how has that changed your relationship? What has it done?
Happy wife, happy life. No, it's honestly been amazing. I don't think that we would be able to afford the level of luxury that we've experienced with the points redemptions on flights, hotels, upgrades with rental cars, the whole bit. I mean, it's a overall improvement on quality of life without having to sacrifice the insane amount of spend that's required with that. So we're able to go and check into an amazing hotel and know that we're not spending any money out of pocket. We're able to get our late checkout. We're able to relax. Oh, if our flight gets delayed, we're going to the lounge. We're having a good time. We're not stuck in the godforsaken gate with everyone else and babies crying and everything. We get to have an elevated experience of life without having to shell out the money for it, right? So I think overall, it's really enhanced our relationship, being able to go on the trips, because I think that's super important, spending time with your significant other, not sitting at home trying to penny pinch to save up to have your dream trip or whatever. Just be more strategic about it, because there's always ways to get to what you want for less effort, less energy, and less money. Thank you, and thank you to all your team. You guys have really changed my life, truly.